And we are live. If you guys can hear us out there, I don't like that one. I like that one.
Yes. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies. Trade deadline has officially, it's going to end in a couple minutes. Yankees just traded Jordan Montgomery to the St. Louis Cardinals for center fielder Harrison Bader. I love that move. We needed a defensive center fielder. I've said this to Frank all season. I said, I don't know what happened to Aaron Hicks' athleticism, but he's lost it all. And Judge cannot play center field every day if you expect him to stay healthy and productive the entire year. He's already played center field way too much for my liking. Someone his size should not be playing center field every single day. It'll take a toll. Frank, your instant reaction, because literally as we were going live, that news broke.
Yeah, actually, I just saw it in the next headline, the Mets acquiring Michael Gibbons, by the way.
That's a good pickup. The Cubs basically traded all their bullpen pieces.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, actually, I was not expecting that. I seen something earlier today on Twitter. They were talking something about Montgomery. I think he's a free agent after the year. Am I wrong? Or he's about to be out of control?
I think arbitration goes higher next
maybe
this offseason.
He might have had 2 more years left because he did miss a year with Tommy John.
What's up, guys?
Hey, hello. Yeah. You've been saying it for a long time, ever since we started going on these shows about them needing some center field help. He's currently on the DL with plantar fasciitis, it says, but I'm sure he's not going to be gone too long if they're acquiring him.
Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, go ahead.
We recently said over the past couple shows that he's not the type of pitcher that's going to win you any ball games in the postseason. So to flip him for Bader, who I believe is still under arbitration, where we have him for at least this year, next year.
Yeah.
At the minimum, I like the move. This leads me to believe that after this year, if Bader performs, I think Hicks will be gone.
I can see them trying to swing a move to dump that contract after the year for sure. Let me see if I'm seeing anything else on here. It might have been the last move right before the deadline.
Trying to get Harrison Bader's contract.
I was going to say, that's why I just asked you. Let's see.
Yeah. So
okay, last second, the Royals have traded Whit Merrifield. Doesn't say to who yet.
Ooh. It's a big one. So
Mets gave up a low-level prospect for Gibbons. Okay.
So Bader on the move to the Yankees, currently on the injured list for Jordan Montgomery. Bader signed through this year and next year at $4.5 million, dropping the bucket for a 29-year-old center fielder with a bunch of athleticism. Yes, 400 subs. We are very, very thankful for that. We're really excited about this trade deadline show, the duck race later on. It's going to be one of our best shows yet. I feel it. And as you're coming in, please like the stream. Frank, what else are you reading there?
All right. So another update on Bader. He's currently in the IL. He's currently shut down for several weeks in a walking boot, but he said they expect him to return before the end of the season. So it seems like this is like a move with September in mind. Keeping Judge healthy, keeping him rested, not off his feet in center.
This is also a guy who late in the game, if he's not starting, can be the defensive replacement outfielder.
I can see that. Obviously, this season, you just probably, if you want to have your full lineup, you might start Judge in center, but then move him over to right if you want to, or take someone out. But yeah, definitely an improvement over. I think Judge hasn't been done. Oh, hello.
It's definitely an upgrade. I guess the biggest trade. Well, I know the biggest trade that happened was Juan Soto and Josh Bell to the Padres. What a huge trade for the Padres.
Yes, sir.
And on top of that, yesterday they got Josh Hader And a little later on today, an hour or two ago, they picked up Brandon Drury from the Reds.
Yep.
I stated on this show, San Diego, they're not a small market team anymore. They make big time moves. They traded essentially all their top prospects to get Soto, and they don't care. They do not mind. They think with the team that they're building and the lineup that they have, they'll be able to compete in the National League, and they can. I think the biggest addition to any team is one that wasn't necessarily made.
Okay, so I got an update here. Merrifield's going to the Blue Jays.
Ooh.
Which is interesting, as he was just not able to go to Toronto.
The biggest acquisition came today by the Mets by getting Jacob deGrom off of the IL. He hasn't pitched in a year. If Jacob deGrom is 90% of Jacob deGrom in previous years, that spells trouble for the rest of the National League. I hate to break it to you, even the Padres, because great pitching will always beat good hitting. Absolutely. Especially in the postseason. And we've seen many of great offensive teams go into the playoffs and choke.
Right.
The Mariners teams of the 90s, the Indians teams of the 90s, even some of the Yankees teams of the 2000s.
Yeah.
A baffling move.
Their undoing was not being able to hit. People, I know pitching is important, but when you have that shutdown pitching against you in the postseason every night, which you're going to have.
A baffling move. Lively Card, Tony, Games to Games, Tina. Hi, everyone. A baffling move to me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was the Angels. They traded 24-year-old stud defensive outfielder Brandon Marsh, who.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
Again, not hitting, but he's one of the best defensive outfielders in the game. Mike Trout, we don't know how long he's going to be out. He's probably going to be out the rest of the year at this point because they're not going anywhere. So why risk him getting even more injured?
Yeah.
They could have played Marsh the rest of the year in center like they did last year. Good for Philly. They picked up a defensive outfielder and they needed it. Defensively, the Phillies are one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. Not only are they one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball, historically, that Phillies team is the worst defensive team in the history of baseball. The Phillies have made a couple interesting moves. They just picked up Noah Syndergaard, right? That was the other news that came.
The news just came down.
They picked up David Robertson from the Cubs. They're pushing their chips all in as well. When you have 3 wild card spots, anything can happen.
Yes,
Frank. What are you shocked about so far?
So far today, maybe, or even just this week. Okay, yeah. Honestly, the Soto trade is not as shocking as some people maybe weren't expecting. Padres. I think you talked about that on the show several times. He would be one of the likely spots. I know the Cardinals were favored, but yeah. As far as anything shocking, I'm looking at some of these deals.
I'll tell you one.
Yeah, go ahead.
The fact that Brian Cashman got a prospect back for Joey Gallo, give that man a raise. How Joey Gallo has been historically bad. And the fact they were even able to get a top 20 prospect.
Yeah, that's what I really saw
from the Dodgers farm system is insane. And on top of it, I get it. The West Coast and the East Coast, it's 2 completely different media markets.
Yeah.
But he went from the biggest media market in New York to the 2nd or 3rd in LA. Guys, is it because he's from the West Coast? They feel like he's going to do better there?
I would guess perhaps the Dodgers think they can turn a season around. I don't know. Ball's flying. Yeah, they do. But, I mean, I guess to be a little less. I mean, the team's got a lot of stars on it. I don't think he would stick out as much there as he does on the Yankees. But if he comes in late in the game and strikes out in a big situation, they're not going to particularly like that. I looked at some of the comments on some of the Dodger fan sites. A lot of them are very confused by the move. But I guess, especially considering they already have several issues of their own, they've been trying to turn around Cody Bellinger for a while. I don't know. There's been a lot of interesting moves today.
They basically have the same player on their roster twice. Cody Bellinger is also a very good defensive outfielder at this point.
Right.
His bat has been in the toilet the last year and a half. Same thing with Joey Gallo. So they essentially have the same guy.
Yeah.
Twice on their roster.
They're doubling it. They seem to be doubling down on that. Let's see if there's anything in the last second because you never know.
What's up, Tragic?
Okay, I see an update on Bader's contract. Joel Sherman was tweeted. He can be a free agent after next season. So he is signed for $4.7 million in 2023.
Yep. Which at that point, now we have an affordable outfielder for next year, and at that moment, when Dominguez might be ready next year, because people are saying it's going to be another 2 years for Dominguez. The way Dominguez is hitting the ball with power, I think they're going to call him up at some point next year.
I'm also interested to see, obviously now with the Montgomery trade, who's taking his place in rotation. Unless they're just thinking when they hopefully get somebody back, although it's not going to be till September now.
They're just going to have Herman go out there and pitch.
I guess they're going to have Herman still go out there and pitch.
Unless the Yankees right now are still talking to a team and they acquire a pitcher because they were linked to Carlos Rodon for a little bit.
Well, let's see if there's anything. My shocking thing is apparently the Contreras and Ian Happ.
What do you mean, Ben?
In Chicago.
What do you mean you came on the wrong day? The duck race is at 7. If you're here for the duck race, you can come back. We're going to be talking baseball the first hour here.
There's a lot of confusion online about the Monty trade, apparently. A lot of people don't understand what's going on. I get not so much just trading him, but the idea is who's pitch, replacing in the rotation. I think that's what everybody's going on.
I think we have you look at the Yankees trades. They picked up and filled needs with each trade.
Yes.
What trade did you like the most out of the trades that they've made?
Okay. As far as me, I know we've talked about Montas in the past. I know you weren't a big fan of this move, and I think you kind of talked me out of it. Although the one thing I find interesting is who was attached to that trade. and Trevino. As well as, we got an update here. Raziel Iglesias has been traded to the Braves from the Angels. Last second. Okay. Closer. Well, he was their closer. Okay. Yeah. I think my biggest shock of what Cashman did was the Efros move, which was kind of interesting, but it kind of fits like what he's been doing. He's been into getting these young, controllable relievers.
Yep.
And looking at some of his numbers, they're very comparable to even Michael King himself, which is kind of what we're hoping to replace with some of these moves. I think the most interesting person is Trevino because he's been very good in the past. And looking at his numbers, he's been running into a lot of bad luck. Oakland plays bad defense. Maybe Matt Blake can work his magic. He is
another puzzling move that I saw today. The only All-Star on the Baltimore Orioles roster was traded. A guy who still a controllable salary.
Yeah.
And you dump him.
Okay, so it looks like Rodon and Jock Peterson are not being traded. So the Giants are staying pat.
Wow.
I guess they didn't get any moves.
What's up, Justin? Yeah, I know, Ben. I'm just joking with you. The haul that the Nationals got, I don't think is talked about enough. But Luke Voit, he's still, if he's healthy, he's going to mash. He's going to hit home runs.
Right.
Mackenzie Gore is an up-and-coming pitcher who they Obviously, they can start and put him in the rotation now. C.J. Abrams, the young shortstop. So he's going to end up playing short. And Brady House, who they have coming up, who's at short in the minors, will probably either go to third or second. James Wood, he looks great as well. He's like 19. He should be coming up to the majors in a couple of years. So, I mean, they did a great job acquiring pieces for the future. Hopefully, once this team sells to an owner that's committed to long-term deals that are the right ones by the players, not a 15-year contract where you're paying a top 5 player in baseball, top 20 salary, maybe they will compete again like they did, from 2010 to 2019, and then obviously in 2019 winning the World Series.
Right.
Yeah, the deal is finalized. So the caveat to that trade was Eric Hosmer declined the trade because he had no trade clause. So they swapped Hosmer for Voit. Hosmer ends up going to Boston, and the AL East, Baltimore and Boston made some baffling trades today. And I said this previously on the show. Boston needs to know, the fans need to know, are we a seller or are we a buyer? But in many ways, they did both today. And I'm just scratching my head at what they're doing. They traded a catcher, then acquired a catcher.
Yes.
And then they were also shopping Evalde and other pieces on their team while also acquiring Hosmer. Who else did they acquire today? I know they made a couple of trades.
Let's see here. Wait, let's see what you're saying.
Whit Merrifield to the Blue Jays also. It's a very underrated pickup there by the Blue Jays.
Okay, so another interesting caveat in this Montgomery trade, there's a stipulation that that Cardinals would send a minor league player from agreed upon list if Bader is not back from this foot injury this season, if he can't make the playoffs.
So that makes sense.
Which is interesting. That's gonna make a lot of people wonder, why are we trading for guys? But they must have pretty good confidence to make this move, unless it's just simply they wanted Monty out of the rotation.
I think, and I've said this for the past 6 weeks, there's been a downturn with Montgomery. And in his last start, he also he looked lights out through 4, came back in the 5th and just got lit up, and he didn't know how to adjust. When you get to the postseason and you get a little bit of pressure on you in an inning, you need to learn how to get out of it.
Yes.
And his biggest disadvantage as a pitcher is that he doesn't know how to get out of pressure situations. He will give up a lot of runs in one inning, and the hook is there. He's also a 5 or 6 inning pitcher. He cannot go deep into games. He throws way too many pitches because he's a finesse pitcher.
Yes, and he, the one thing that I find interesting about him is it was often talked about how they didn't score for him, but when they did, he seemed to have trouble. I don't know. I also didn't like how slow he is between pitches. It's very frustrating to watch at times, and I've seen him pitch live before. He was not supposed to be he was like our 5th starter. He was fine in 2017 as 5th starter. He was good. He was fine. He's shown flashes of brilliance, but like you said, you can't trust in a big game. I think the only big game he ever pitched for us was in that 2020 weird playoffs against Tampa. He did win. Well, he didn't get the win, but he pitched into the 5th inning in that game 4 when they stayed alive. But again, that wasn't exactly like a big compliment.
Justin, that's a very good point.
Yes.
With Bryce coming back soon and my Phillies acquiring good players in the trades, I'm extremely they also have Schwarber, who, even though he's batting 200, has 32 homers, and he's been awfully productive. You just picked up David Robertson, which is kind of funny considering he did sign a big money free agent deal with you guys a few years back and only pitched 6 innings. So you guys are now trading for him. Hopefully this works out for you. I think it will. I think he's over his injuries at this point. Pretty sure they.
Yeah. I mean, no, the Phillies they've kind of turned it around this season. Girardi was sent to door, and they've responded, and even with the injuries, it's good to see that they actually went out and acquired some areas of need.
The Braves getting Iglesias is a good move for their bullpen. Looks like they're fortifying their bullpen.
Yeah, they have a nice. Would not be surprised to see the Braves make another run. Obviously, they had a really hot last couple of months.
Correct.
A better closing bullpen. Okay. Let's see here. What are the other things today?
Anything else come through at the wire? I'm looking as well.
Let's see. Oh, an interesting stat here. Joel Sherman just tweeted, which is a good point. The Yankees began today leading the majors in defensive run save. However, their biggest negative area was center field at -6. And Bader has won a gold glove as recently as last year.
Yep.
So obviously,
that's why I said
yes. I think this is everything you talked about.
As soon as I said they needed a defensive outfielder, because Judge cannot play center field every day. Not saying he's not capable of it; he's more than capable of it. But for production, especially late in the year, he's not going to hold up. The Braves continue to impress me every trade deadline. They go and they get some unsung people, under the radar moves, and it works. It worked last year. But a really impressive move was extending Austin Riley for 10 years.
Yes. It's a tremendous move. Getting him cheap. Relatively. 10 years, which is something I wish the Yankees had done with Judge after his rookie season. But anyway.
Yep.
Wow.
The Reds have been very active as well.
I think a big so JD Martinez was not moved. Yeah, so the Red Sox, while they did sell some players, did not move JD Martinez, did not move Evaldi, did not move Bogarts. Hosmer obviously would be a defensive improvement at first base for sure. What they've been running.
Yeah, the Twins got
yes, they
Jorge
did.
Lopez, right, from Baltimore, and they got Tyler Mahle from the Reds. The Reds have picked up a tremendous amount of prospects in their deals that they have made. They already have a decent farm system. They could be back into contention in a really weak NL Central, probably the next year or two.
Yeah, I think they sold off at the right time, for sure.
Yeah, Aaron Judge cards right now are they're going through the roof.
I'm sure
it is not a time to buy his cards.
Glad I have several.
Just like his home runs.
Yes.
Yeah. Jorge Lopez, that was a good move. Again, I'm baffled as to why they keep the Orioles they're such a bad organization. Like, they just don't want to pay people.
And they're having going for
sale. You got the Aaron Judge.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, and we've praised the Orioles recently how they've responded this season, and they make some baffling moves, like you said. Especially,
I think he wants to play for the Yankees, but I think their offer in the spring training, I think he took it as an insult, to be honest with you. Because he thinks that he's worth more than that, and he's showing it on the field. And at this point, the $225 million or whatever we offered him, like, we're gonna have to offer him more because he's gonna go to free agency and another team's gonna offer him more. Trey Mancini, he was the only guy in the team where I said they should trade him and Santander, because they're a little bit older. Mancini is a free agent at the end of the year. I don't know if he was going to come back or they even wanted him back. So get what you can for him. I'm surprised they didn't move Santander. That was the guy I thought they definitely would trade.
Trying to see if there's any. Nothing right now. Yeah,
I'm
just
trying
a
to
lot.
see
Just a lot of.
Jorge Lopez, what his contract is, why you would trade him. He's not a free agent until 2025. If Aaron Judge hits anything over 50, he's still getting a big payday. And he's only 7 homers away. If Aaron Judge wins the MVP, he's going to get paid.
That is a good point. Somebody just saw on Twitter. They're talking about how the Yankees did send Clark Schmidt down, and they're trying to stretch him out, so they might be thinking of using him as well as Herman.
Well, they got Herman for better or worse.
Another thing I like to bring up. I did see an article earlier about Severino. Now, yesterday they moved him to the 60-day IL, which means he's not eligible
Until September.
And apparently they did not tell him about it. He didn't seem happy. So, and from what I can gather, it looks like the reason why they're doing this is they don't want to bring him back until they build him back up fully. So they kind of want him to go through like a bit of a faux spring training. And I think we know they wanted to keep his innings down this year, and this is another way of doing it. The fact that he was out injured.
You'll like this comment. It's very true.
It's very true, but I mean, I don't like to ever say stuff like that. There's a lot of Astros fans who are, just saying, "Oh, we're going to beat the Yankees." Not anything can happen in the postseason, and if any wins do against us, it's just wins. That being said, if we had a choice of facing them or someone else, yeah.
I mean,
do
we have the details on the Merrifield trade?
Let's see if there's any updates on Merrifield.
I don't see anything yet.
Everybody seems to be very upset on Yankee Twitter right now because they don't understand. Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Well, I think the knee-jerk reaction is like, why would we trade for a player that's injured?
Right.
My question back to those people is,
okay, so
why we need a guy who's only going to throw 4 or 5 innings, is not going to pitch for us in the postseason?
Yeah. So it looks like Merrifield goes to the Blue Jays for Samad Taylor and Max Castillo.
What's up, Vit?
So a couple. I don't know if these are prospects. I'm assuming. I don't know these names. So, okay. Merrifield has been like a rumored to be traded guy for several years now.
I don't know. I didn't have anything planned, so celebrate by looking at my pretty face for 2 hours.
Syndergaard.
Thanks for stopping in.
I'll be honest. I'm glad Syndergaard didn't go to the Blue Jays. I know they were interested in him.
Yes. So the Phillies and the Angels made 2 trades.
Yes.
So they picked up Marsh and Syndergaard from the Angels. So I guess they're making that one trade instead of separate deals.
Another good point online. So because a lot of guys were not traded, you have qualifying offer candidates list is pretty interesting with Contreras with the Cubs, JD Martinez and Carlos Rodon, all eligible for the qualifying offer.
Yeah. Also, the Mets got Darren Ruff from San Francisco. And that's a trade that the Mets fans didn't like because they felt like they overpaid. But
that's what I'm seeing about
if you look at his splits between him and Vogelbach, it's the perfect platoon at DH, which is what they wanted. Instead of getting Nelson Cruz, who is not batting that great this year, they now have a platoon at the DH spot that's better than acquiring one DH. Granted, they gave up JD Davis and a couple minor league pieces and another catcher, but they needed to make a move. They got someone there. They picked up Gibbons for the bullpen. I think the Mets could have done more. I don't know why they didn't. If DeGrom goes out there tonight and he's not DeGrom and he keeps going out there and he's not DeGrom, they are not a World Series team. The Phillies, the Braves, the Dodgers, and the Padres have all made significant additions today that, in my eyes, in my opinion, if DeGrom is not close to the same DeGrom, all those teams I just mentioned are going to surpass the Mets.
Sure. I think what we talked about a couple weeks ago, it was a caveat. If you have Scherzer and DeGrom, even if they didn't make any more other pitching moves, that's the key. I know right now after these moves, the Padres are definitely going to be one of the favorites. Yeah, for sure though. Okay, see if there's anything else going on. Looks like that's about it.
So what do you see with this Padres super team?
Yeah, I mean, looking at that, thinking about that lineup,
You got Machado,
Tatis,
and Soto.
so
Granted, Tatis hasn't played at all this year.
But still.
So the Padres already have a great record. Tatis is out. So essentially, at this trade deadline or post trade deadline, they're going to have Tatis back probably in the next week or two. Soto, Drury. They added Hader to the bullpen. That's Josh Bell, who's been very productive this year. The Dodgers are it's gonna be a dogfight for the NL West.
Yeah, that's an A+ deadline by San Diego, obviously.
If they pass their physicals, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. Let's see what's the latest.
Yeah, Josh Bell is just. That was a really. I mean, he's kind of the throwaway name of the trade, but in many ways, he's been as productive as Soto this year.
So it looks like.
Anything else come across the wire?
I don't think. I think we're done unless we have some kind of.
Nothing.
Doesn't look like anything's going else is on. Oh, I think the most interesting thing left is basically who wasn't moved today.
Yeah, no Contreras, no Wilson Contreras.
That's a little bit shocking.
No Rodon.
I
think JD Martinez.
Yeah,
no Evaldi. So
we're talking. So it looks like some teams were sticking to their guns. They weren't giving up unless they got what they wanted.
Jock Peterson wasn't moved.
Yeah. Should be interesting. Okay, what else we got? So we can probably.
So on paper, what's the best pickup we've got so far? What do you think is the best trade? Do you think it's the Soto trade?
I mean, it's got to be, right? Just by sheer how big it is, not the whatever they gave up. As far as get what they gave up, I mean, there's a lot of guys were moved here, and like they weren't. These packages were pretty friendly outside of Castillo and Soto. Obviously, even Soto I thought might have got fetched a little bit more, but if I looking at what they gave up. I'm just glad Cashman didn't move maybe any of these big prospects he did stick to his guns on Volpe, obviously, and they apparently seem not want to move Dominguez as we discussed earlier.
Yeah, they don't want to move the top guys, which is fine.
Yeah. You don't move those guys unless it's Ohtani, which they did check in on, which is good to know.
Yeah. What's up, Pokey? Yeah, I was a little surprised that the Red Sox held on to their players. They're not going anywhere. They traded away Vasquez, then got a different catcher, which
doesn't make any sense.
Telltale sign means it's almost like the Gary Sanchez trade. Maybe he wasn't mixing well with his pitching staff.
Good point.
Michael Fulmer also got traded to the Twins.
Yes, I saw that last second. So very, very busy deadline. Obviously, the expanded wild card has played a big part in this, but we did see some moves made by teams that may be fringe contenders as well. So
I still don't get Brandon Marsh getting traded.
yeah, that one. I say, wait a second.
I'm trying to let me pull up his Baseball Reference.
The Angels have decided, okay, they move Syndergaard, they move Marsh. They at least entertain some talks about Ohtani. But they didn't. I don't think they had any serious plans of moving him. And if they don't move him next year, he's going to walk for pretty much nothing. I understand that Moreno's very frustrated with what's going on, all this money he's put in this team.
So Brandon Marsh, he's played 163 games in 2 years. So he's basically played a full season.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First full 162 games.
Yeah.
10 homers, 56 ribbies, 239 batting average, 300 on base. So the offensive production's not there. I get it. That's fine. But his defensive wins above replacement, he's at a 0.6, which means he's a really excellent outfielder. His WAR is positive, with him not batting very well.
It shows you how good his defense is.
I think they gave up on him way too early here. And good on the Phillies for acquiring him. Maybe they could turn him around offensively, but he's so young, and he's only played 163 games. That's not a good sample size.
No. They didn't really give up much.
The Angels have the top 2 talents in all of baseball, and the rest of the team is crap. Yeah, I think what people forget is the Angels also signed Anthony Rendon, and he essentially hasn't played any games with the Angels. Every time he steps on the field, he's a walking injury.
Looking at some of these moves with the Yankees, they recalled what Castro added Efros and Trevino to the active roster tonight. So I'm wondering if this Monty trade wasn't some sort of roster.
It might have been. They had to readjust the 40-man.
They did just reinstate Rortvet, and he's been assigned to Scranton, by the way. So we might be seeing him at some point.
Talent doesn't mean team. No, of course.
No, it doesn't.
So knee-jerk reaction during the offseason, during spring training, the Yankees traded Gary Sanchez and Urshela to the Twins for Donaldson, IKF. Who else did we get in that trade?
And Rortvet, the catcher.
Yeah. And I don't know why we're getting Donaldson, why we're getting this.
Yeah.
The Yankees have been much better, not because of the players that they got, but it was the player that they got rid of in Gary Sanchez. It proved that Gary Sanchez was becoming a very bad situation in the clubhouse. So sometimes it's addition by subtraction.
Right.
And that's what that trade did. So I understand what you're saying about talent doesn't make a team, because Gary Sanchez has all the talent in the world, but again, he just wouldn't listen. He wasn't coachable, and that's what happened. When you're on a team that's not doing well, it plays with your head. Now that he's on the Phillies, a new surrounding, might have a new lease on things. Yeah, but by all indications that he's a great clubhouse guy, great young kid. Yeah, but the contract that the Angels gave Anthony Rendon, number one, I knew when they gave it to him, it was insane. So 2020, we throw out that season. He essentially, that whole entire season, I throw it away. Sorry, Dodgers fans, that season doesn't count. I'd say the same thing if the Yankees won the World Series. It was a 60-game season. He played 52 games, so he played most of that season. Did well, and then the last 2 years, he's played 58 and 45 games respectively. while making $28 million last year, $36 million this year, and oh, by the way, the Angels are on the hook for the next 4 years at almost $39 million per year.
Yeah, that's. I know we discussed the last episode about the Red Sox with what Sale's contract was doing. So
What's up, Eduardo?
the Angels keep making these big signings that don't pan out. They gave all that money to Pujols a decade ago. They gave a big contract to what was that pitcher from Texas? Can't think of his name right now. They've made several decisions that have backfired.
Josh Hamilton contract,
obviously, yeah. Like they have failed to build around Mike Trout. And about the only person they were able to add to that was Ohtani, obviously. And it looks like they're just sticking to their guns, and he's going to walk for nothing. And Mike Trout will be there by his lonesome with maybe Rendon. I don't know if he'll even be playing. He'll be making a lot of money, though. That's for sure.
what's up? Yeah, Rendon. I don't think the guy's ever going to be healthy again, and you have him on the hook for $160 million, essentially, for the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people want to talk about other sports. Some of these baseball players make a ridiculous amount of money to not play games.
Yes.
It's all guaranteed. Anthony Rendon got the bag, and unfortunately, he's been hurt since he's got it.
Yeah, just an unfortunate circumstance.
He went to the Padres along with Josh Bell.
What a day.
Yeah, Josh Hamilton, I agree. He had some demons. It's unfortunate. Struggled with him. We thought he was okay, but all it takes is one slip up. So,
jeez, I'm just looking at some of this reaction on Yankee fan Twitter is a little insane to me. We're acting like Monty was like Cy Young. You would think they just gave up.
We got a better player in return for him.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure we can find someone else, figure out another way to fill that slot. They'll do just at least the same as what Monty's been able to do lately, which is maybe 5 or 6 innings.
Josh Hamilton's contract. I'm trying to look that up. Oh, man. So essentially, they signed him for a 5-year deal, and then they traded him before year 3 and paid $75 million basically for him to play for another team, the Rangers, who told him after the first year, bye-bye. That's insane.
Unfortunately, he never reached the heights he probably could have because of personal problems, but he did make a lot of money in a short period of time, so good on him, I guess.
I think you hit on a good point earlier. You said the Mariners overpaid for Castillo. And I think based on their overpay, that's why we didn't see Rendon traded. That's why we didn't see Eovaldi traded.
Yeah.
Because those guys are still under contract for next year, like Castillo. So the other teams, the other GMs had the foundation of a trade. Hey, you got to give us, 3 of your top 10 prospects. And that was not in the cards for these teams negotiating for those 2 pitchers. And I don't blame them. I'm not giving my top prospects for Nathan Eovaldi. Rendon, I might have given one of my top 10. But he's another guy. He's never healthy either.
It's a big chance you're taking. Yeah, and going back to that, the Mariners overpay. They certainly did pay a lot for, which essentially is they're just trying to make a push. They just want to make the playoffs at this point. I think that's very important to them, and they're willing to, give up a ton just for that. And honestly, they should be a favorite to actually get one of those wild card slots now with the rotation they do have now.
When in 2030? Jeff, the problem with the Red Sox is they're good every other year. There's no consistency there. So maybe next year you guys will be back in it, but the moves that you didn't make today baffle me. I don't get it.
Yeah, so they don't move Bogarts. They didn't extend Devers. They didn't move Vivaldi. They got a different catcher. They got a better first baseman at least.
Yes.
Their defense, obviously, we talked about last episode. They seem to be in this weird. As long as they get the players, they have a chance. Oh.
They have a chance, but I mean, they're doing a participation trophy award, I think, at this time.
I mean,
if Julio can't come back and he's not healthy, I can't see that team hitting enough to make it in the postseason.
Because the pitching is not there, guys. I know they had a run last year. It was very unexpected and kind of seemed to defy logic. But this year, looking at their pitching,
their bullpen is still suspect.
Yeah,
I get that they have Robbie Ray, Gilbert, and Castillo now.
Yeah.
They traded for Matthew Boyd, he's a fourth or fifth starter at this point. He's like trading for Jordan Montgomery. He shouldn't be pitching in the postseason for you as a starter.
Yeah. So we'll see how this affects everything.
Cardinals made a couple. I mean, getting Quintana and Jordan Montgomery is not bad insurance for Flaherty.
Will be.
It remains to be seen because the Dodgers have had some starting pitching issues, and as much as I'm a Yankee fan,
you can't.
We also have some pitching issues, and we have an issue against one particular team. It's the Houston Astros. The Astros really have our number. I don't understand it. I can't even call them cheaters at this point because that should be something they're not doing. But they have our number.
And some things you can't explain. Last year, it was the other way around. But when it was never a problem in the regular season. It was the postseason.
Yep.
Obviously, the last doubleheader, they didn't exactly throw their best arms at them. I don't know if Boone was punting that day, but yeah, it's a mental thing, and obviously that's why a lot of Astro fans are really cocky about a possible matchup. But it is the postseason. I mean, these teams are going to finish 1 and 2. Which order? I think the Astros might have an easier schedule coming up. So they're probably favored to get that one slot. But even if they don't, they're both getting buys.
I agree with you, but it's different in the NFL because it's one game.
Much different in the NFL.
In basketball and baseball, you have a series, and it's really, especially a 7-game series.
Yes.
It's different.
You have to have.
They're not growing on me.
The depth has to be there in a 7-game series.
Did you guys watch my video today? I opened up a blaster. Jose Altuve card came out of the blaster, and I threw it. So, sorry. I just can't. I can't. And Frank has known me a while. Frank, wasn't I a huge Jose Altuve fan prior to the cheating scandal?
Yes, you were.
I said, first ballot Hall of Famer, mark it down, one of the best players of the generation, and he's the biggest cheater of them all.
And me as well. I respected him a ton. Even when he got the MVP judge should have got, I was still like, well, he's a good player. He's still a pesky guy. You can't get him out. He has a knack for theatrics.
I wouldn't throw because he's not a cheater. He wasn't on the cheat. Him and Tucker are not cheaters.
And I know I keep hearing this thing. Well, he wasn't part of it. I'm like, he was part of it. Well, he didn't take it. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he did.
His wife didn't want him to take his shirt off.
I'm like, there's too much there. And I know people are like, well, I said, no, nobody did what they were doing, guys. I'll say it again for the people in the back. With this letter the Yankees got unsealed, won't even get into it. We're talking about something that was stealing signs and relaying at second base is the reason why pitchers and catchers like to change up their signs. There's another reason why we have PitchCom now. None of these teams, besides the Astros, and I don't know what the Red Sox were doing in 2018, were putting a camera specifically aimed at the catcher so that they can decode in real time the signs and let the player know at the bat literally each pitch. That goes to another level, guys. So PBs in the world, if you know what pitch is coming.
Yeah.
And I know there was a lot of talk about that series. Well, the Yankees didn't exactly do well like in Houston during that series. Yes, I understand that. When your batters are that confident and they know what to lay off and they can just hit when they need to. Obviously that yeah. Let's not go too far on the Astros. We'll be here all night. But yeah, let's just say it was a slap in the face on top of the fact that we already lost to them three times actually in the postseason. Is this stuff? And I hope people understand that, and that's why Altuve is getting the grief he's getting here. Well, I understand it wasn't only him.
Never mind. I know it's different, but what I'm saying is instead of build teams for the next year, they're building to try for now, which ends up screwing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean,
again,
you kind of have to.
The moves that the Mariners made, I don't think necessarily put them over the top. I mean, they could prove me wrong. Weirder things have happened, but I don't think Luis Castillo added to that team makes them a World Series team. Now, if they would have got Soto or they would have got, a bat like that, maybe. Run the duck race 55.
Yeah, the trade value for Castillo, obviously him going to the Mariners instead of the Yanks, it's a big difference on the teams there. So he would have affected one more than the other. I understand they're trying to go for the postseason. It's important to them, and I get it. Who would, after 20 years plus, I mean, they have a shot now to make it in. Do they have a shot to go very far in the American League East? I mean, American League? Probably not.
Yep.
As far as World Series period, it's too early to talk about that. Anything can happen. The Yankees very possibly have enough talent to go all the way. We know a lot of things have to go right, like as they did most of the first half, and then lately, namely starting pitching, obviously.
We have enough talent. We do need Stanton back. We need him healthy.
Big part of it.
We need Gleyber Torres to not botch balls in the infield. And we got to figure out what to do with Josh Donaldson. He literally has been almost Joey Gallo-like lately. Yeah.
And honestly, now that Gallo's gone, he's probably going to get the majority of the fans' hatred here. Maybe him and Hicks, but definitely him.
Sports is worth billions. Every team has been caught cheating.
Okay, that's not the point, but okay.
I love you, Russ, but we're just going to differ on that one. JML, who's your all-time favorite Yankee bro? Well, mine's Jeter. It's kind of cliched, but it's Jeter. Frank, who's your favorite Yankee?
Yeah, the cliche's answer is Jeter, but I have my thoughts change from time to time, but my go-to answer is always Mariano, just because
he's my second. Yeah,
and just like I have not, as much of a fan I am, it's not been the same to me since he's been gone. Like I don't think if anybody wasn't around, maybe didn't watch back then, or just wasn't a Yankee fan, I guess. The moment he came to a game, there was nothing like it.
Babe Ruth.
I don't think I was around for him. Yeah, when I was a kid, the Yankees weren't so great.
Donnie Baseball.
Donnie Baseball. So one of my first baseball hero. Yeah, I mean Jeter's Jeter. The core 4 or 5, whatever you want to talk about, all those '90s Yankees teams. Tino, Bernie.
Yeah, we definitely.
All those guys are always going to hold a place here, but for now,
I really remember. So the first Yankees team that I really remember is the '95 team. That was really when I started to get into baseball and remember players.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I remember watching opening day at Jacobs Field
96. Yeah.
96. I went to opening day at Yankee Stadium. They played the Royals. But I believe their opening day, their first game was against the Indians, right,
Yeah.
Frank?
Cleveland. Yes. Opening day in Cleveland.
And I
Game.
think Jeter hit a homer opening day
He did.
against Denny Martinez.
He had a homer. He made this over-the-shoulder catch. It's been played on Yankee Classics many a time.
Phil Rizzuto made the call on the home run. He said, "Holy cow, this kid's going to be something."
Indeed.
And he did. And I remember turning to my grandparents because I was in their living room watching the game. I said, "That's my favorite Yankee." So always will remain my favorite Yankee.
There's never been he was the Yankees. He defined the team when he was there.
JML and Frank top baseball movie.
Ooh, good one.
I'm gonna say The Sandlot, but Major League's up there as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of good baseball movies. I'll probably say Major League 2. I saw it in the theaters when I was a little kid. I was probably a little too young to understand half the jokes, but it's a comedy, but it gets so many things right about baseball that I just I have to say that. Sandlot, of course. I'm a fan of the movie called The Scout with Brendan Fraser, and
That's a good one.
Which is an underrated movie, in my opinion, comedy about basically Brendan Fraser basically plays Ohtani because he hits and pitches.
I also liked For the Love of the Game.
Yeah, not bad. There's a lot of good baseball movies.
Didn't Sam Raimi direct For the Love of the Game?
I'm not sure.
Who directed? I gotta
look it up. Chat, let us know what your favorite baseball movies are. Major League is tight. Yeah. That's so many lines. There's so many quotable lines in Major League.
Yeah, Sam Raimi directed For the Love of the Game.
How about that?
It's weird because I remember like the cinematography looked like a Sam Raimi movie. 42. Yeah, 42 was a good one.
42 is very good. So that in the theaters as well.
How do you feel the trade deadline went for your teams? Let us know.
Yes.
The Yankees, of course, made moves. That's what they do. I don't think we've seen a trade deadline where the Yankees didn't make some sort of move. There were some teams that didn't make any moves. What of one Hunter? I don't think. Well, the Texas Rangers traded Matt Bush. That was the only trade that they really made. But I mean, they didn't trade Perez, which I'm surprised. You're supposed to go back to the base when I step off the mound. Have no team, so I can't be mad or happy. You should have a team. It's what sports is about. I saw Major Leagues with my dad, rest in peace, when I was 4 or 5 in a crummy theater.
Yeah, and it's a good movie when, as a Yankee fan, we're cheering for Cleveland to beat the Yankees at the end of the movie.
Yeah, it was a good one. Remember the terrible Back to the Minors?
Yeah, I have seen that. I don't remember a lot about it, but I have seen it.
It was a terrible movie.
Yeah, Major League 2 wasn't as good as the first one, but it was still fun. Still some fun quotes in that one. But
what, Scott Bakula?
Scott Bakula was in it. Yeah, you're like, I do see League of Their Own. Obviously, there's a series coming out on Prime. Looks interesting. But the movie, another movie I saw in the theater. So that was another good baseball movie.
Yeah.
First Pokemon in Columbia Theater. Oh, nice.
The only reason I think I saw the first Pokemon movie was they were handing out the limited edition cards like the first weekend or something. Do you remember?
I'll be honest. I wasn't really into Pokemon when that first came out. I was already like getting into high school, so
yeah.
As nerdy as I was, I didn't get into that. I did love video games. I was still nerding out over wrestling, obviously, and baseball, but
I
that
have
was a
no.
big thing back then. I'm sure that was a big thing about a limited edition card because those things were. I mean, they still are, but even back then, I know that's everybody was talking about. I just didn't happen to get into it.
Unfortunately, I never got into Pokemon, or fortunately, depending on what
Yeah.
side of the fence you're on. But I was always into cards, so I was like, my other two friends were going, and they're like, "Oh, you get these rare cards," and they're not rare because they just gave them away to everyone. So
Yeah, I never got any of those. I think I got a card. I went a couple years ago when they had that Detective Pikachu movie. Even though I wasn't a fan, I just went to see
I'd
it.
rather you take the Angels than Boston.
Yes,
I have
please.
Yankees nails on, so I guess I'm a Yankee fan for
Oh,
the evening.
thanks.
That's good. Again, we got up to 55 spots remaining. You want to share this stream for the duck race. The winner receives $100 in break credit for our favorite breakers. So you get to choose one of them.
This is any other news going on out
You
there.
know how much the non-rare Mewtwo card is? I don't care. Sorry.
So, Shorter Montgomery got asked about he
You're
had a
in.
conference, so must have been fun for him.
They're making too much of a big deal about trading Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, it seems like it. And Jack Kersey, that was the last move of the day, so no more moves for the Yankees as we expected. Okay, yeah, they seem to be making too much of a big deal of this. There's a reason for this. They wouldn't just do it, and I don't think they would give up a pitcher for an outfielder unless they just. It's more to this just than the player they got here, guys. They needed an outfielder with defense, as we discussed, but
I'm
I'm
surprised the Marlins didn't make more moves.
Yeah. I know they were fielding offers for Lopez, but
that organization hasn't been the same since Jeter decided to leave.
No. And he left because they just weren't interested in getting better. And he had high hopes for that.
I'm surprised that Donnie Baseball's still there.
Yeah. I mean, they sold off their team, years back to, rebuild, and they're not rebuilding. They keep finding young players. They didn't get rid of anybody today, but yeah, I am surprised Donnie's still there. Hopefully he'll get a shot at managing somewhere of note again.
Yeah, he's a bad. I agree with.
Yeah,
I agree. He's not a good manager.
You would think he'd be, but not. The best players aren't always the best managers. He was also a bench coach, hitting coach.
There was a reason why Mattingly didn't get the job, even though he was on Torrey's staff with the Yankees, and Girardi ended up getting it.
Yeah, you can't just assume, these guys are going to make a great manager,
Which at this point, I think Joe Girardi's done as a major league manager.
He could be, yeah.
I think his style doesn't fit with today's game of baseball, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. I know they always used to say he was a by-the-book guy, but he was like the old school book. He wasn't a real analytic guy.
No.
Either with Corey, of course, but
yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. At least he did have that World Series. They can't take that away from him.
Yep, with his that was the second year?
Yeah, second year. I mean, of course, a lot of people probably could have won a World Series with that squad they had in 2009, but still.
Yeah, but they had to have a lot of breaks to win that one too.
Yeah, they did. And you're right. That's half of everything is luck. And as talented as they were, things just happen. That's just the way it goes, guys. You can do whatever you want. You can make all the moves. There's no guarantees. We could be talking about world champion Mariners in 2 months. We're probably not going to be, but you don't know.
Yeah, I didn't mean to shoot down the Mariners when the
World
Series, but it's highly unlikely based on the moves that they made that they're a World Series team. They could make it. I just can't see them winning it.
There is a lot of parity in baseball, guys, but I think too much is made of this. Well, anybody can win it. Yes, you got to get in to win it. Yes. But the way the playoffs are structured now, it's a lot harder. You're talking about if you don't have a bye, you got to win 2 out of 3. You got to win 3 out of 5. Then you got to win 4 out of 7 just to get to the World Series. And if you're not completely spent by then after 6-month season, on top of that. So
your team also confuses me. So if you're a Brewers fan in chat, explain to me, because the only thing that I can think of is that the team, the locker room, the manager did not like Josh Hader, and that's why they shipped him out. Because I don't understand how one of the top 3 or arguably best closer in baseball gets traded for another closer. That deal made absolutely no sense to me. This is now the longest besides breaks that I ever listen or watch anything. Good.
Nice.
Good.
I'm honored to be part of that.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Yeah, Joe Girardi. I think unfortunately he's going to be out.
I think he might just want to go back to the booth.
He'd be good in the booth again.
I know he's worked with the S Network before. I can see that happening again.
That was Hardwood's favorite manager, Joe Girardi. They got a nice haul back, but it seemed like
is it just a money thing?
Addition by subtraction moves.
Seems like they just didn't want him there. You're right.
And they also picked up Matt Bush from the Brewers. That guy's had an interesting career. He was the number 1 overall pick by the Padres, either in 04 or 05 out of high school. He came up as a shortstop. He spent a long time in jail. He came back as a pitcher, and he's been pretty productive. Girardi's a better coach than Mattingly. It's a shame that Loria he got rid of him after he won National League Manager of the Year with a team that was one of the worst teams on paper I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, they had what? Miggy?
He got I think they had 85 wins or something like that. One manager of the year, and then he's out the door.
Out the door. 2007, he was working with the S Network.
And a year later, by the end of the year, he's Yankee manager,
Yeah, came to support number 1, and Tina nailed the number 2. Learn up-to-date info. Yes.
Nice.
Baseball only. James C. Is James C.
It's been a while. It's been a wild deadline. It's been a wild season so far.
James C. is added to the duck race.
Nice. Welcome.
Got 44 more spots. Let's see if we can fill the duck race. It will go, even if it doesn't.
Going pretty good. Just sitting here.
We have terrible owners. The commission let this clown buy the team when there was a bid from a local Miami billionaire that wanted to pour. Yep. Well, that was Seelig. Seelig made some bad decisions when it came to ownerships. So, Mike Honcho. Greatest YouTube name ever. No. It was the new. Oh, so it was Manfred? Well, you're in the duck race. If you're a new sub, I would appreciate if you go check out a recent video and leave a comment. Thank you. So, Kurt, are you a new sub, Kurt? Yeah, the deadline went pretty well, Adam. A lot of moves. And then there was moves that I thought would be made that didn't get made. I thought 100% that Wilson Contreras would get traded, but the Cubs apparently just traded their whole bullpen. I feel bad for David Ross because they're going to have a really terrible back half of this year with essentially 0 bullpen pieces. It seems like they're just going to have AAA pitchers in their bullpen.
Yeah.
Cool.
A lot of blown leads. It's unfortunate. There's a lot of, weird decisions made throughout the league, both leagues. I mean, a lot of rich owners. Unfortunately, not a lot of them that like to spend money or spend it wisely.
Well, look at Baltimore. Peter Angelos is in his 90s now. on his deathbed. I believe his son is running the team. His son has no interest in the team.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because Baltimore right now, with the pipeline of young players that they have, if they were able to spend a little bit of money and build around those young players and keep them, they could be a force. But I don't think that's going to happen until they sell. Look at the Mets had the worst owners. They literally blamed what was that scandal?
Oh, the Madoff.
Madoff, the scheme.
Yeah.
On why they couldn't spend money on the team. They essentially the Mets became what, a top 12 spending team instead of being a top 5. Now they got the richest owner in baseball. In one fell swoop, they ended up signing Lindor, Scherzer this offseason. They're spending money. So they need to get more affluent owners approved to run these teams, to spend the money, because it's the only way that these teams are going to survive and have fans in the seats. I have the MLB package. There's some teams I go, I don't know how this franchise survives. The Pirates have a beautiful ballpark. Unfortunately, their team stinks.
Yeah.
They don't draw. There's a famous Dan Le Batard. I don't like Dan Le Batard. What's up, Sharp Corner? How you doing?
Yeah, there's just even in these bad owners who just don't want to spend the money, like you said. Some of them just don't understand the concept of you have to give to get. Some are just happy just taking in what they got, writing it off, whatever they're doing. I think Cohen understands. I mean, obviously he's the richest owner in the game, but he's also smart. He understands the value, what you do in a big city, in a fan base like that.
Yeah.
Energize it. Draw.
We got about 10 minutes before I'm going to run the duck race. We got about 50 spots left. Tell your friends to join. It's free. Appreciate it. You have to be a sub to enter.
Anything else going on?
Someone said something about the Miami Dolphins. Was that Hardwood? I didn't read much into it because of the baseball news today. I know that they had their first round pick taken away. The owner got suspended. I don't know. That I have to read into it. I just can't make a comment. If you could tell me a little bit more about it, it's fine. Pokey, you're in there.
Well, funny thing about Monty, it's true. The Yankees are in St. Louis this weekend, so it's very possible he faces the Yankees this weekend.
Why would they spend money if they don't win one game? Yeah, that's something they have to negotiate in the CBAs. Luxury sharing is so stupid too. Yeah, first and third. I think the third is next year, though. The first is this year. He must be taking steroids.
And
you can have multiple ducks, but I've already determined, based on the first duck races. Did you have multiple, Ben? Did you win multiple duck races? So I think you only won one.
Okay, anything going on?
What a 100! You're in the duck race, by the way. Sure, the Yankees have first pitch coming.
Looks like they were delayed a few, but I'm seeing reports that they took the tarp off, so it looks like they'll be starting soon.
They were talking to Brady as far back as 2019. Huh.
Hard to believe already we're about to have the preseason start in a couple weeks.
I am not in any breaks tonight. Around 7:30, once we run the duck race, I'll pull up the breaks. We'll go over them. But I'm excited to watch Hitman back. He's been off for a few days. All his breaks are essentially sold out except for a couple. He's got a Pop Century breakup. That's interesting. Yeah, that's pretty shady if they were talking to Brady in 2019. What was the conversations like, though? Plumberman, you're in the duck race. Pat, you're already in the duck race. You were gifted a spot by Justin Lambert. Tell your friends. Let's get some more people in the duck race. Got about 49 more spots. You guys have anything else you guys want to talk about? Baseball related, sports related? Thanks, Kurt. Yeah, you're in. You won a duck race. If we don't get that as many as I think, whoever won a duck race, it doesn't have. They only have one. I'll add a second. Since you guys were here for multiple streams in one. You want to buy fillers for the duck race? Go-to snack at a live baseball game? So at Yankee Stadium, I'm a big sucker for the garlic fries at Yankee Stadium. I don't know how Frank feels, but the garlic fries at Yankee Stadium, they're pretty good.
I think I tasted them once. I wouldn't really get that because it would probably not agree with my stomach. But as far as go-to snack at a live game, I don't like to eat during a game too much. I prefer to get something to eat before we go to the game since the prices are so pricey in there.
Yeah,
but the go-to
really
at the stadium is probably, it's very ridiculous. Go-to is probably like the world famous chicken bucket. But I guess as far as snacks, probably popcorn or something like that. But I'm not, like I said, I don't really like to. Once the game is going on, I'll probably just have like a drink of some kind. And I'm not talking beer or anything like that because that's way too expensive.
The big mozzarella sticks they had at Yankee Stadium were also phenomenal.
Oh, I need to try those at some point. I know we had last time I was there was unfortunately the day the Astros no hit us, but it was my friend Jay's birthday, and he wanted to try the cannoli milkshake they were selling. They didn't have it that day, but he got like this similar thing. He said it was good, but it was $15. So,
well, remember when the stadium first opened, 2009, first year, Carvel was in the stadiums.
Yeah,
Carvel ice cream. There's nothing like Carvel ice cream.
Yes.
If you guys have never had Carvel ice cream, to me, it's the most premium, delicious ice cream you could ever get from a soft serve. And their hard ice cream is made from the soft serve.
Yes. And of course, the nothing better for birthday cakes.
Yes, Fudgy the Whale.
Fudgy the Whale, yeah. Started right here, actually, in my neck of the woods.
Cookie Puss.
You kind of.
Am I in as Kurt or am I under my? You're in as Kurt. Kurt with a C. Your YouTube name.
Yeah, Friendly is one of the.
Remember the old school stadium, Yankee Stadium, where they had the little outdoor tenders and fries area?
You mean like
It was like where the gates were, but it was in the stadium. But you would sit outside and eat.
I think so. It's been a while, but Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the old stadium as much as I have the new stadium. I did. I did move away for a time to the West
Yeah,
Coast.
the old
Stadium was
stadium.
cool. What I remember about the old stadium mostly when I was a kid, I did go there a couple of times. My father took my first game, like around '91, I'd say, against the Red Sox of all teams. I just remember like the ice cream in the helmet, which is something they still have to this day. I think that's what sticks out. But yeah, the old stadium was different.
Yeah, it was.
I do. I mean, it's not that I don't like the current stadium because I do. I'm generally used to it now. I've been there a bunch of times.
Yeah, Justin, you're in.
Nice.
Yeah, you're in, Justin. You've been in.
I did finally last summer when I was in Chicago for All Out. I did get to go to Wrigley Field finally, which is a cool.
Yeah, I got to go there.
Yeah, it's very old. I mean, even where we were sitting, the seats are very, faded. But no matter where you sit in there, it's like you're right on top of the action. Very cool to see. It was pretty surreal to be in Wrigley.
Yep.
Would like to get to more stadiums eventually, as much as possible.
All right. So I'm going to give you guys, it's going to be 5 more minutes. I'll run the duck race. I got everyone that's commented in chat on here with the duck. I'm going to see if someone else joins or anyone else joins. I'll put them on the list. If not, I'm going to double up on some names.
Seems like first pitches happened. Okay.
Yeah, can we stop the drug talk? I mean, I get it. It's marijuana, but, I don't know. If you guys like the marijuana talk, it's up to you. I'm a people person, but want to keep it kosher in here. Carson. Yeah. It's okay. Wasn't directed at anyone in particular. It's just the entirety of the conversation. It's still early. It's not like it's past midnight on the East Coast. Fenway is crazy. Yeah, Fenway was really awesome when I went. I liked it. Yeah, I know, but I'm a man of the people. I still wanted to get out of hand in chat or spamming it with stuff.
Yeah. There's nothing else. Huh?
Garson and Viet, you're added to the race. No, you didn't miss the race. Yeah, Ayuk and Fred Warner had a fight at practice today. Yeah, no problem. Julio Jones, I think, is washed. I don't think he could stay on the field. That's just my opinion. You can prove me wrong.
Anything out there?
We got the mod power for the open chat. I think most of you are mods, so I'd have to get rid of wrenches from people. I really don't want to do that. I went to Yankee Stadium. Wow, yeah.
Nice.
Tim, why do you ask the same questions?
Shockingly enough, Tyona's good up a home run in the first inning, I believe.
How bad is the Red Sox? They're pretty bad.
I think we both agree that Tyona's looked gassed for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think of the Red Sox front office there, Frank?
is that what I think of the Red Sox front office?
Yeah.
Not sure what they're doing. I think we've discussed this in detail before, but the moves they did make or didn't make added to just like the bad decisions they made over the last several years. I think as we brought up before, I'm amazed that Cora is like not getting more heat for his team's performance. I know it's not just him, but I mean, this lazy defense.
Yeah, they're just not. They're not clicking. They're not clicking. Jared, you're on the duck race list.
Is there anything else going on?
Hey, I mean, I gave you guys wrenches for a reason. If you feel like something's out of line, use them. I trust the judgment. If you feel like someone that's a mod shouldn't be a mod, you got to let me know. Yes, that just happened. All right. Yeah, football's going to be good. We got a game on Thursday, the Hall of Fame game.
What's this, Dodgers? Huh. Kind of. It's pretty funny. The Dodgers official release about welcoming Gallo to LA has a picture of him with the beard and the LA hat on. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll be back.
It wasn't so much that, it's also, trolling and just having the flow of the conversation. Like, I'm stopping to read comments because I read every comment, and then I'm going to read your comment, and it just takes me away from the conversation.
So with that home run, Tyona's allowed 9 home runs in his last 8 games, and he'd only allowed 6 in his first 13 starts of the season before that. So yeah, that's a problem.
Mike, I'm not sure when that drops. Yeah, let's turn the page.
Yeah.
All right. So I got 55 people. It's around that time. Should I run this race? What are we doing? Am I running it? You want me to wait? I'm sure you guys want me to run it because it gives you more chances at winning. What do you think? Am I running it? Everyone in chat gets an extra duck. Okay. Muted. Is Frank in? No, that would just be rigged.
Yeah.
You're already in the race. You already have a YouTube channel. Craig, you're in. All right. If you're in chat, You want to be part of the duck race. You want an extra spot in the duck race. Put a duck emoji in. Macamania, I'm gonna punch you out, bro. Come on now.
Pretty good here.
All right. Tony, Ben, Mads, Justin, Jared. You can keep talking, Frank. I can multitask. Whatever you want to bring up.
Let's see. It looks like DeGrom struck out his first batter of the game tonight.
Thank you.
Seen a lot of chatter that no, I don't think that's true. I don't know why a lot of fans are thinking that they made this Montgomery trade because they thought they were going to get another pitcher and it didn't happen. I don't see Cashman doing that, guys. If anybody's thinking that out there, unless he had an agreement in hand, I don't think he'd make another move. What's going on in the chat, guys? What's everybody excited about these days?
Baseball. They're excited about the duck race.
Besides the duck race, I guess. We know they are. Trying to think of things.
Thanks, Tyler. We appreciate that.
Welcome.
Sorry, we're just trying to gather the names. Frank, his YouTube channel, he doesn't really have any videos on there. He just comes on and hosts, I believe. So if you want to see Frank, he's on a lot of the content that we produce here. Tyler, you're in the duck race, my friend. Let me add Pokey's second.
We got going on now. There he goes.
Yeah, everyone's excited about football. See, I'm usually not excited about football because my team is terrible, which is the Jets. So,
yeah.
So if you want to learn more about baseball, we do have content on the channel.
Yes,
that involves baseball. If you want to see other baseball related content about maybe like the history of the game or whatever, we can also do content for that. Cool. Yeah, we're good with that. All right. So some people won multiple duck races during the streams, so that's why you'll see their names a couple times, and then I added more names to the list during the stream. We have 80 names. The cutoff is now someone in chat put a cutoff. Not going to add anyone to this race. So that's the list. We'll do a minute and a half duck race. It'll be the longest duck race anyone's participated in to date. 80 ducks. It's going to be tons of fun.
So it looks like DeGrom looked pretty good in his first inning. Hit as high as 102 miles an hour on the gun.
And they're off. Do we have a Trump duck? Yeah, we do. Trump duck is...
Oh, we got all the ducks in the game here.
My God. Look at this. It's crazy. Good luck. Good luck. And there's some people that won duck races. They may not know that they won the duck race. If you don't report your win, then let's pay attention who wins second place. And we'll write that down. One-on-one Hunter. Oh, man. Look at that. A lot of ducks. A lot of quacking. Trump duck is in the... making a march. High risk. Duru. Yeah, you're creeping up. We got Seth. We got Chad Sanders.
Home stretch now.
Home stretch.
Who's gonna get this?
It's so rigged. The first time viewer won.
Nice. What a comeback!
Oh, man. All right, Tyler. Congratulations. Congratulations, Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler, do me a favor. Send me an email. We will connect. Yeah, that was you, Tyler. You won. That's why I said it was rigged. First time luck. But congratulations. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that for baseball. Poking Fun was second. Yeah, Tyler was here, though, so... What's up, P-Lip? No Pokemon or AEW rips for you. All right, so we have Hitman breaking. Did you all see Hitman sold his card? The 1-of-1 White Sparkle Mac Jones. I do not know how much it sold for. Just pay attention to his video. If Sports said it was an 80K card, he said it was around the same, so we'll see. Yeah, but you got to remember he got the Herbert card too, so it was probably minus whatever that Herbert card is worth. Again, that's just me guessing. You did. It was a very entertaining duck race. It was very entertaining. What's up, Brandon? Yeah, he got the... There was some good trades. Not as... I mean, you don't see trades for a 23-year-old transitional superstar every year. So that was definitely the biggest trade. So all his breaks have sold out, except National Treasures. Got 5 left. He opened up. Have you seen these Pop Century sets by Leaf. They got like concert tickets in there. They got, as my light goes out, great. Harrison Ford signature.
Huh.
Natalie Portman. Mystery celebrities. Kit Harington. $152 a slot. Oh yeah, no problem. $20K on the Herbert. Cool. I mean, definitely made a profit. White Sparkle packs are what, $700? How much are the White Sparkle packs? He netted a ton of money, so all the power to him. I wish I got in this break. Absolute tier 1, pristine. Ben got robbed. Yeah, I don't know. Are you guys in any of these breaks tonight? The baseball looked awesome. I'm a big fan of the tier 1. Yeah, you hit a 1-on-1 Mark Grace. That was pretty awesome. Anything else you guys want to chat about? I might just end the stream early. Any questions? I'm in the PYT Lions and Clippers, the cheaper teams. Yep, that was his first 1-on-1. Yeah, that was it's Frank. Frank and I do baseball shows on this channel.
Let's see.
I like him repping a New York hat. Cool. I got a couple fillers. Yeah, good luck with the fillers. Good luck. He'll probably open another baseball break. They've been running 2 baseball breaks. It gets really expensive. If you buy into a break every single day and you're spending $100 per break, it's $700 a week. That's $2,800 a month. So it's a lot of money. Just do the math, be responsible, pick and choose the spots, unless you just have unlimited funds, which all the power to you. What's the matter with games to games? Yanks beat my Phillies in the 2009 World Series. Just watched a recap of all the it was a tight-knit series.
Pretty fun.
Yeah. Just be responsible.
Windows here.
But all right, guys, we've been at this for almost 2 hours now. We appreciate the viewership. We appreciate everyone getting into the duck race. Tyler, email me. We'll connect about the giveaway. What's up, Irvin? That's not true. More like the late 90s.
Yeah, I would say so.
Thank you, Mads. We're going to sign off for the night. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good night. Good luck. See you at the breaks. Take care.
Take care, guys.